So, in this new year, I'm going to share with you 5 books that I personally believe that you should read, right? And if you haven't read it, I think you should go through it. No matter whichever part of the country you stay, or whichever part of the world you stay in, or from wherever you are looking at me or observing this video, please go through in details. I'm going to explain in deep details about each and every book, right? And no matter whatever working field you are in, you can go through these books without any hurry or issue. So these are the 5 different books I recommend you to read, right? What are the 5 different books? Let me come with this particular thing one by one. So the book number 1 that I'm going to recommend to you is Principles, written by Ray Dalio, right? So this book holds the basic fundamentals which applies to your life, and how once you understand the principle, means the law that goes against you or for you, and once you understand those law, you can apply it, reapply it in your life again and again, and make your purpose even better, or the struggles you're going through even better, right? So this is the book that I recommend every single person to go through individually, if possible. It's not much fat book, if you can see, and it's beautifully described by the legend himself, Ray Dalio. Now let us come to the next book. So the book number 2 that I'm gonna introduce to you is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Well, as you can see, it's a very thin book, right? It hardly costs 70 rupees in Flipkart or Amazon. And what is the specialty about this book? Why am I recommending this to you? The reason is simple. That is, after you read this book, one thing I'm assured of is your thinking capability, your thought process. You will understand how vital your thought process is. How vital and how should you nurture your thought process? Well, you should not, whom should you be? Your friends, average people that you should spend time with more, the mindset that you should go through with, and every single thing has been written in this book. It comes with your thinking ability. It enhances your thought process. It cultivates more. It just cultivates more of your thought process. This is the fundamental, and this is the best book based on any particular culturative, as including thought in your mind, right? And this book is completely based on mind. James Allen writes this book with a complete classicalness, and I have no words to express this book, because this book is one in a million, and you can go through it. Now, book number 3 I would like to recommend you. If you haven't gone through this book, I recommend every single person, no matter whichever field, if a person is CEO level, executive level, or the presidential level, or as a student level, or as an undergraduate level, postgraduate level, whichever level the person is, they should go through this particular book, and I recommend this highly. The book name is as you can see, The Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell. Well, the author is no more, but one thing I can say, that this author writes a hell of a book. This is the gem of a book. What is this basis? In this entire book, he especially describes how does a person faces tremendous amount of trauma and downfalls, but still the person just doesn't gives up. He knows that is the journey of a hero. Hero's journey declares that no matter how much downfall it is, observing all the mythological facts across the world, Joseph Campbell gives you the direction that whatever downfall you are facing, you will come up, whichever field you are, right? This is the best book I recommend. I have read this book almost twice. I recommend you to do it same. Well, now I'm going to introduce you to the book number 4. The book that I can personally say that has impacted me a lot through my life, through my personal growth, through my mindset, every single way. And I can say something for sure, that if you are demotivated completely and you do want something spirit, that you want to walk in fire, right? You want that kind of capability within yourself. This is the best book I recommend you, Think and Grow Rich. Well, this is not the first time I'm not the one recommending this. All the best people across the world have recommended it, and there's no point for me not recommending this book, because this is the best book that has been through far. So this is the 4th number of book of 1, 2, 3 and 4, and if you haven't gone through any of this book, I recommend you to read this book in 2025. And if you want me to go through individual section book, just like in finance, which are the best book, business, which are in best books, investing, which are in best books, I will go with them. I'll share with you the details that the books I personally read. Before that, I would like to share those. I'm just sharing those books which are important, no matter whichever field you are in, right? So this is the best book, Think and Grow Rich. It was written approximately 70 years ago, and it is still the best book. that how a person's mindset should be established regarding what is the difference between special thinking, specialized knowledge, and informative knowledge. All those thinking are there in this book. I recommend every single reader to read the book of Napoleon Hill at least 3 to 4 times a year. This book should be read if you are the first time reader of this book, because Napoleon Hill will himself say that you have to read this book twice a month in the beginning, because at one read you might not understand everything. The second read you have to understand. In the beginning of the book it is written that every day you are eligible to read only one chapter, and that is the strictness that you have to follow on. You should read one chapter at max in this book a day and proceed on, because this book will give you a different dimension within yourself. Who are you, right? And how you should proceed, whether you should proceed with business, whether you should proceed with job, or whatever your field is, that is where you belong to. And this book basically talks about two things: persistence and perseverance, which is the most prominent factors of any field you are working in, right? So let us move to the last and final book. And the last book, the number 5th book that I want to share with you, if you haven't gone through this book, but one thing I would like to say this about this book, that is, only if you are above 23 years of age, then only you should proceed with this book, or else just don't proceed with this book, because your critical thinking ability will not be there yet to understand and perceive this book, right? Because you will understand this in very wrong ways. No matter whichever position you are in, after 23 you are going through a depression, no matter it's a relationship depression, there is no point of problems that this book cannot solve. And what this book actually gives you, it gives you inner peace, the peace to your soul. I recommend you the Bhagavad Gita, right? Written by R.R. Varma. Why R.R. Varma? There are multiple forms of Bhagavad Gita. You have Ashtavakra Varma, Bhagavad Gita and all. But I personally recommend this form. Why? Because R.R. Varma, he himself is a perfectionist and a realist. So he explains in this book that how to realize Gita scientifically. So he explains the theories with respect to Gita. So I personally recommend every single person to go through Gita. You can say that I do not belong to Hindu religion, I do not belong to this religion. I would say Gita is never about religion. It's bullshit when people say it's about religion. They don't know anything, right? What this book haven't talked about, it talked about your mindset, it talked about your lust factor, anger factor, devotion, every single factor it is there. It has been discussed in this book. So I simply want you to go through and read this book, right? Bhagavad Gita, well, you cannot understand it just by one read. It consists of 18 chapters. It's a part of Mahabharata, the original epic, the full epic of India. And I personally recommend to go through this book, every single person. Just don't attach yourself with godness or religiousness, that you should worship this book before studying. No, that should not be the case. What you have to do, you should have to read this book as much as possible, right? I just recommend you to read this book if you are above 23. There is age restriction 23, because below 23 you do not have that critical thinking of understanding this book. Once you pass the limit bar age of 23, you are eligible to read this book. And this is a must read book, no matter which part of the world you stay in, right? If you can just pass through these 5 books, I guarantee that you will see a random or turbulent amount of shift and transformation within yourself. So best of luck and have a happy new year. Thank you.